My dear friend, reaching the age of 80 is no small milestone. It's a moment that carries both weight and wonder. You've lived through decades of love, loss, laughter, lessons, and countless ordinary days that turned out to be extraordinary in their own way. By the time you cross this threshold, life does not feel quite the same as it did in your 70s. Something changes. In fact, 5 things change. Now, before you get uneasy, let me reassure you. These are not signs of illness, not warnings of decline, but rather natural transitions that every single person will encounter. Think of them as life gently inviting you into a new rhythm, a different pace, and, if you're willing to see it, an opportunity for deeper joy and freedom. These 5 changes touch different corners of your life. They shape how your energy rises and falls throughout the day, how your friendships and social ties naturally evolve, how you begin to see and value time itself, how your memory and thinking reorganize, and perhaps most surprisingly of all, how you finally feel free to live more authentically than ever before. Some of these shifts may feel frustrating at first. Waking up at 5 a.m. when you used to sleep until 8, forgetting why you walked into the kitchen, realizing you'd rather have one deep conversation than a whole day of small talk. But if you look closely, you'll discover that these changes are not limitations. They are gifts. They are your body and spirit aligning with this new chapter of your journey. So today, I want to walk you through these 5 transformations, not with fear, but with hope. Because what waits on the other side is not loss, but a more purposeful, authentic, and fulfilling life than you may have ever imagined. One of the first and most noticeable shifts that comes with turning 80 is how your body manages energy and rest. It can feel confusing at first, almost as if you're suddenly out of sync with the world around you. But the truth is, your body is simply adjusting to a new rhythm, one that actually works in your favor once you learn to embrace it. Here's what usually happens. Your internal clock, what scientists call the circadian rhythm, starts nudging you toward earlier nights and earlier mornings. Where you might have stayed up until 11 or midnight in years past, now your eyelids feel heavy around 8 or 9 o'clock. And like clockwork, you may find yourself wide awake at 5 or 6 in the morning. Some people worry about this change, thinking something must be wrong. But it's not about being tired, it's about your body choosing a new, more natural schedule. Your peak energy now comes in the morning and early afternoon. Around 2 p.m., you may notice a steep dip, stronger than in younger years. That's not failure, it's simply your system asking for a short pause. I think of Lucille, an 82-year-old retired teacher I once met. She felt frustrated when she could no longer stay awake through her favorite late-night shows. At first, she resisted. She tried coffee, she tried naps, she even worried she might be sick. But when she finally accepted her new rhythm, everything changed. She began planning her mornings for reading, writing letters, and walking in the garden. She scheduled her social visits at lunchtime, and she gave herself permission for a 20-minute rest every afternoon. The result? She felt more energized than she had in years. So how can you work with your body instead of against it? First, pay attention to when your energy feels strongest. Second, schedule your most meaningful tasks during those hours. And third, honor your earlier bedtime with soft lighting and quiet routines. When you stop fighting your rhythm, you'll discover more productive and peaceful days than you ever expected at 80. Another change that quietly unfolds in our 80s is how we relate to people. Friendships and social circles don't look quite the same as they did 20 years ago. Some connections fade away, while others become unexpectedly deeper. And while it may feel like loss at first, it's actually a beautiful reshaping of your social world. You see, when we were younger, we often surrounded ourselves with groups, neighbors, coworkers, church committees, poker clubs, or busy family gatherings. But with age, something shifts inside us. We begin to crave fewer distractions and more depth. Instead of chasing every invitation, we choose the conversations that truly matter, the people who nourish our hearts, not just fill our calendars. Eugene, an 81-year-old widower, shared a story with me. For years, he played poker every Thursday night with a lively group of friends. But over time, the laughter felt different. Some friends moved away, others passed on, and the noise of the games no longer filled him with joy. For a while, he felt lonely, like the chapter had closed. But then he discovered volunteering at his local library. There, he helped children learn to read, shared stories with teenagers, and slowly built bonds with people who valued his presence. At home, he also began spending more intentional time with his grandchildren. He told me, "I lost one circle, but I gained a deeper one." That's the key. Your social life isn't shrinking, it's refining. It's shifting from quantity to quality. Here are a few gentle steps. Allow certain friendships to fade without guilt. Seek out new connections with those who share your stage of life, and invest deeply in relationships that lift your spirit. This isn't isolation, it's optimization. By choosing authenticity, you open yourself to relationships that are richer, calmer, and far more meaningful than ever before. One of the most profound shifts in your 80s is the way you begin to see time. It's not that the clock ticks faster, it's that each day feels more precious. Mornings seem to arrive sooner, afternoons slip by in a blink, and yet within that shorter sense of time comes a deeper clarity. You know what truly matters. When we were younger, so much of life was about meeting expectations. We said yes to obligations because we felt we had to. We joined committees, took on extra work, or attended gatherings out of habit rather than joy. But in your 80s, something liberating happens. The weight of those outside expectations begins to fade. You stop worrying so much about pleasing everyone else, and you start asking, what brings me life? What makes my heart feel light? Take Ruby, for example. She's 83 and spent decades serving on multiple church committees. She showed up out of loyalty and habit, but secretly, she longed to spend more time in her garden. One day, she gave herself permission to step away from all those meetings. Instead, she planted vegetables in her backyard and joined a small community gardening group. She told me she felt more alive digging her hands into the soil than she ever did sitting in a boardroom. Her days became fewer in number, perhaps, but richer in meaning. You can practice this too. Try keeping a simple time journal for a week. Write down the activities that energize you and those that drain you. Then give yourself the gift of saying no to what no longer serves you, without guilt. Redirect that energy into what fills your soul: reading, walking, creating, or spending time with loved ones. The truth is, as time feels shorter, life becomes more intentional. And that intentionality is where joy truly lives. Another change that often surprises people in their 80s is the way memory works. You might walk into the kitchen and forget why you went there. Or you might meet a neighbor and struggle to recall their name. These moments can be frustrating, even worrying. But let me reassure you, your mind is not failing. It's transforming. What actually happens is this: short-term memory may become less sharp, but long-term memory grows stronger. You might forget a grocery item, yet vividly recall the smell of your mother's kitchen 70 years ago. You may lose some speed in recalling small details, but you gain something far more valuable: wisdom, insight, and the ability to see life's bigger patterns. I think of Carlton, an 84-year-old retired engineer. He used to pride himself on memorizing every small detail of his projects, but as he aged, he noticed he couldn't recall numbers as quickly as before. At first, he worried. Then he realized something new. While he wasn't as fast, he was far better at seeing the whole picture. He could spot problems others overlooked. He could guide younger engineers by connecting dots they never thought to link. His strength had shifted from memorization to wisdom. You can support your mind in simple, gentle ways. Write things down. Keep notes, use calendars or sticky reminders. Free your brain from carrying every little detail. Engage in activities that use pattern recognition, puzzles, strategy games, or even mentoring someone younger. And whenever possible, learn new things that build on what you already know. That's when your brain feels alive and capable. So remember, this isn't decline, it's re-specialization. Your brain isn't less, it's different. And in many ways, it's wiser, more insightful, and more capable of guiding others than ever before. Of all the changes that unfold in your 80s, the most powerful might also be the least expected: a newfound sense of freedom. For so many years, life was full of duties and expectations, career responsibilities, raising children, meeting society's standards of who you should be. But now, those pressures slowly fall away. What remains is the incredible gift of being able to live as your truest self. Think about it. You don't have to climb the career ladder anymore. You don't have to prove your worth to anyone. You've done the hard work and you've earned the right to live authentically. That means wearing the clothes you love, saying what you truly believe, spending your days the way you want, not the way others think you should. I'm reminded of Constance, an 82-year-old grandmother. For most of her life, she dressed in plain, muted colors because she thought that was what was appropriate. She kept her love of painting hidden, afraid people might laugh at her bold, colorful work. But once she entered her 80s, something shifted. She began wearing bright scarves, painting canvases filled with joy, and even redecorating her home in vibrant tones. Her family was amazed. Not only did she seem happier, she seemed more alive. They told her, "We've never seen you more yourself." That's the beauty of this stage. Honesty in relationships, lifestyle choices made for joy, emotional and spiritual freedom that grows even as physical strength changes. So ask yourself, where have you been living under others' expectations? And what would it look like to finally give yourself permission to be free? Your 80s are not the time to hold back. They're the time to blossom into the most authentic version of you. So here we are, my friend, 5 universal changes that arrive with the gift of turning 80. At first glance, they may seem like signs of loss. But if you look more closely, you'll see they are not endings at all. They are transformations, natural adjustments that lead to a more meaningful life. Your body shifts into a new rhythm of energy and rest, helping you discover mornings filled with clarity and afternoons designed for gentleness. Your social circle evolves, guiding you toward relationships that are fewer in number but richer in quality. Your sense of time changes, not to rush you, but to free you from obligations so you can invest in what truly matters. Your memory and thinking reorganize, trading speed for wisdom, detail for insight. And perhaps most beautifully, your spirit opens wide to freedom, the freedom to finally live authentically, with no more masks, no more pressure, no more pretending. When you weave these changes together, something extraordinary happens. Life in your 80s can be fuller, more vibrant, and more satisfying than decades that came before. This chapter of life is not about decline, it's about evolution. It's about becoming the distilled, authentic version of yourself. So if you've ever feared aging, take heart. Each sunrise at 80 is not a reminder of what's gone, it's an invitation to live lighter, freer, and more deeply connected to your soul. Let us embrace these changes, not with resistance, but with gratitude, because what they truly offer is the chance to experience life in its purest form, intentional, wise, authentic, and full of love. And perhaps, just perhaps, you'll discover that 80 isn't the closing of a book. It's the beginning of the most meaningful chapter yet.